Y'all, we live in difficult times. There's war, political unrest, the pandemic, poverty, families being torn, communities ripped by gun violence and people dying every day, police, injustice. It's all bringing so much pain. But y'all, we can look inside our minds and we can understand who we are, become better, and do this thing like we've never done it before. But it all starts with our mental health, and I know we can do it. I believe in you because I believe in me, and I believe in us. And welcome to another episode of Therapy is Life, where thinking, feeling, and experiencing well-being is what we do. Today, I have my boys here, BK Watts.
Dut up, whoa.
Marius.
What's going on?
And in absentia, Maul G. This is another episode of Therapy is Life. And you know, we're going to do some rhythm and rhymes and we're going to take it high. I feel like today we want to talk a little bit about basketball. We want to talk a little bit about hip hop. And we want to talk a little bit about good vibes. Good vibes. Y'all feeling the good vibe today?
Yeah.
Typically.
Typically, you feeling the good vibe, man.
Yes.
You know what? I like people, man, that really demonstrate a good vibe. I'm curious, man. I'm curious. If you had to think a little bit about athletes, basketball players, particularly today, since we talk about basketball, or some music artists that you think have really good personality. They're competent and skilled in what they do, but they also come off with things like empathy, good humor. They are tolerant. They good communicators. They make people feel good just being around them on the real. I mean, if you know something like that, man, let's talk a little bit about them. But before we get off into that too much, I'm curious. I know y'all said y'all was doing good. Y'all was doing all right, man. Is it getting cold enough for y'all yet? Because I know it ain't that cold out here.
Man, it's hitting me. Because I go to the gym in the morning. Mm-hmm. So now these mornings, I'll be walking outside and I'll go right back in the house. I'll be getting my winter hat. It's cold. So the cold is getting to you. It's getting to me at least.
It's getting to you?
Yeah, it's getting to me.
I put the Scully on today and I took it right back off. I was like, man, no, it's all right. I ain't even about to pretend that it's real life cold yet. Like, because I know, bro. Like, we know it's around the corner for real. And I'm like, you know what? It's all right. I can hoodie right now. I can hoodie jacket. You know what I'm saying? A little bomber combo. I'm trying to enjoy this little like artificial fall that we do get before it get real ugly. So I ain't going outside to play. No. But you know what I'm saying? It's all right.
You know what? Are you actually have a reminiscing the past? Because I mean, right now it's like November, and I don't think I really wore a coat outside yet.
Mm-mm. Yeah, no, for sure. Like we don't like it's weird because it feel like winter has slid back further and further through the years. I remember when I was in my early 20s, the first time that my birthday is in December, and it was like having no snow on my birthday was like, what's happening? Yeah. And then like somewhere in my mid 20s, it was like we started getting to Christmases with no snow. Yeah. And I'm like, what's happening? Yeah. And like now, I don't think we've had snow on Christmas in like 10 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Because I remember back in the day, like, we used to always want to go over to my grandpa's house because he always used to get the big gift. And I remember, like, when we was kids, like, it would snow so bad that we couldn't get over there. But now it's like, I think, like, before I had torn my Achilles, I ran on Christmas.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
And I probably had, like, a bubble jacket on and a hoodie.
Yeah, like I'll never forget the first time I legitimately did a handstand and walked on my hands like down the driveway. Because I was just like, yo, bro, there ain't no snow out here. And it was on Christmas. And it was super weird to me. So it's like, yeah, like winter keeps sliding back further and further.
And further and further and
you
further.
feel me?
you know, when I first came to Cleveland for real, man, like, you know, 97, you know, from North Carolina. When I first came here, man, I was so like in awe with all the snow. Like, I was like, look at this, man. I felt like I was watching Charlie Brown, man, the Peanuts gang. Like, cause every day it was like snow outside. You know, you would watch the Charlie Brown cartoons during Christmas time. Every day they'd go outside and there'd be snow. They'd be playing football in the snow. And coming from the South, it never really was ever like that.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh my gosh. But one month went by, 2 months went by, and then I said, Dad, man, when the grass gonna come out?
Yeah. No, because once the snow pull up,
it's here. Yeah, it's
be
here.
here for a minute, bro.
Yeah.
But it ain't like that no more, though. Like, it just seemed like it'd be more grassy days than it'd be snowy days in the wintertime. We might have like 30 days of snow?
Maybe.
But now, even that now. Like, it was a point where it was like super aggressive, and then we have snow all the way to like March. Now it just be like we get 1 or 2 really aggressive snows, and outside of that, it just kind of be like that just be residually just sitting around. Like, it don't really be super bad no more. And I'm not really mad at it. That might mean that the planet is dying or something, but like, whatever, dog.
Yeah, but you know what
we can do about it.
There's nothing we can do.
Hey, man, so like when you say there's nothing we can do about it, I mean, do you really believe that like that we so you don't believe that we are doing anything to influence what's going on the earth right now in this very moment?
Listen, I understand that in the city that I live in, you will get fined if you do not throw away your garbage separately from your recycling. But I also know somebody, I know the garbage man. That's one of the garbage men is the homie. Like, and he is like, bro, we pull up with the trucks, one trash and one recycling, and they drop that shit in the same spot. It's just like, I guess. Like, it's like it almost made me feel like the cities just be doing it just for the sake of like maybe making the people feel like they doing their part. You know what I'm saying?
But in reality,
but they
it's
ain't.
like whatever.
You feel me?
I've heard reports about that on for real. I've heard reports about the fact that they don't always dump the garbage and take it where they need to take it and stuff. It really don't get recycled. But I also hear that the stuff that people put out be contaminated because people don't like do it separated or clean it like they need to. So they don't have time to do all that stuff. So that stuff end up getting dumped because people don't take care of it properly. And so, but that's been an issue with recycling though. Seriously.
Yeah.
But I mean, a lot of plastics and stuff end up in all kind of places and end up in the water and killing the fish.
Yeah, it's bad.
It's bad be killing the doggone sea turtles.
Yeah.
It be like killing them, man. I be thinking to myself like, oh my God, they be pulling up these animals, these sea creatures, man, or sea animals. Excuse me for saying creatures. And they have like all this plastic stuff in them, and you know the sea turtles be having like straws and stuff stuck in them and everything because we don't throw the stuff away, man. And you know, it's crazy. Not to mention that we get tons of plastic, like microplastics, like we breathe the stuff in all the time. Yeah. And now they're saying it's affecting our health, man.
I ain't trying to hear none
we
of
becoming
that.
plastic, man.
I'm not trying to hear none of that. It been plastic since before I was alive, and ain't nobody. I haven't lost a family member to plastic inhalation yet, bro. Like that's like people just be making stuff up to be like, dog. What you don't realize is the plastic is really what's it's shut up. Like I mean, like I guess, but
man, they
got like,
tests now. You can do a test, man, to measure how much plastic in your body.
Yeah,
you can measure how much. But guess what, man? Seriously,
I guess it's like, yo, this fish is man-made, broccoli ain't real, lemons ain't real. You gotta you use a certain type of orange and a certain type of this other fruit and mix them together, and then that's what creates lemon. Apparently, lemons are man-made. Bruh, I'm not about to not drink lemonade, though. I don't care, bro.
But seriously, dude, man, I think this plastic thing is real because we start breathing that stuff in and everything. And by the way, toxic stuff don't hurt us like immediately.
How
It's
can
like
we
over
not
time.
breathe? The plastic is in the air already.
It's
It ain't nothing we can do.
It's in the air.
Y'all got me with this one.
That's what
I
I'm
feel like there's
saying.
nothing I don't
What
know.
do we do?
Hey, so that's why when you go to the store, they say plastic or paper. You say paper because paper breaks down. Plastic lasts forever. Hey, yo, look, you want to make something last forever, man? You make it plastic. It'll be here after we dead.
Yeah,
Hey,
I mean,
more
realistically
power to the
speaking,
people who do it.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, can I just get it back?
You
Yeah,
feel
But
me,
more
man?
power to the
Like,
people who actually take the time out to try to research that. I just don't have it to do.
Yeah, I mean, like the paper bags. Listen, it's all gonna get tossed into the fire pit at my house, and we gonna burn it in the yard. So it's cool. You know what I'm
See,
saying?
yeah, so you can break it down, but you do that with plastic, man. It's gonna melt, and then it's gonna go into the earth, and it's gonna harden up again, and it's just gonna do
That's the
whatever
crazy
it
thing.
does.
I guess until they come out with paper bottles for soda, we ain't got no choice but to deal with it. Bro.
Hey, yo! Some time ago, when I was in Canada, man, they had paper straws, man. That's what they was using.
Oh no,
up there.
paper straws are diabolical.
Yeah,
that
yeah,
right there is that is the
Using
work of
paper-
Lucifer himself,
Yeah,
bro.
there's a lot
A
of
straw
it'd be
that can get soggy in the middle of your beverage.
No, a lot
That
of
is-
places be having those though. Now I see a lot of like restaurants, they have those. I mean, teach his own. I mean, if you one of those type of people who really think paper straws and all that little stuff can save the earth, more power to you. I support you from afar, but I just don't. I'll be like, just let me just get a straw, whatever it looks
It's just
like.
like, do you know how hard it is to get the whole world to change at the same time? It is legitimately impossible.
And what about be the change that you're looking for in the world?
Okay, that's cool. And then you be the Green Party.
You
You know what I'm saying? On the voting ballot, that literally got half of a %. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just realistically.
Yeah, so what? So if we're a part of the crowd that does what everybody else does and acts the way everybody acts, I guess it's the right thing to do, right?
That ain't it.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is,
Well,
it is very difficult to create enough change that actually would show a viable result. You know what I'm saying? That you actually see something tangible from. So we can be the three people. You know what I'm saying? But we gonna be the three people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, here's the thing, man. Like, we talk about disease a lot in our country, and we talk about healthcare, right? We talk about mental health, but there's so many pollutants that we like put out into the atmosphere. We flourish first by taking care of ourselves, but if we don't take care of the earth, like our ancestors understood that they couldn't go and eat with so many buffalo because if they ate too many of them, the buffaloes would die out. So they would only eat a certain amount, and then they would leave the rest because they had to replenish themselves. And so, or they would only take so much, and whatever they took from the earth, they used all of it. So now I think what we do, we don't really think about it when we are getting in our car, driving in, or we go by these factories and we use plastic and we use rubbers and all this stuff, and we constantly buying up stuff. We don't realize how we are constantly draining away from the resources of the earth, and we live with the assumption that these resources are going to always be there. But maybe the earth will die, or perhaps it will be because the greed of man and the misfortune and not understanding that if we don't preserve the thing that keeps us alive, that it will burn a whole lot faster. Because obviously the sun probably is going to end one day, but dang, do you know, for example, every day, every time we go out here and we turn our cars on and all that carbon dioxide goes in the air. Carbon dioxide in itself, it doesn't necessarily make the atmosphere more harder, but what it does, it actually makes it harder for the heat from the sun to actually be released from the Earth's atmosphere, which then makes the Earth hotter. So we talk about Cleveland and how it used to be snowing here and all cold and all that crazy stuff, how it used to be, and it's not like that anymore. Well, carbon is helping keep the heat closer to Earth. And the more we build and the more we cut down trees, the more we get rid of plants, the more we live in urban areas, that means there is this crazy thing that happens where we lose trees so we can have more houses, we can build up more things, but then there's less things taking the carbon out of the air. However, we say this is growth and development, and then all along, younger people are getting cancer. We see an increase in mental health issues. Um, we staying inside more. We talking about health prevention or trying to prevent people from being sick, but at the same time, we are actually killing our planet for our own needs. And I wonder, but some people would just say this it's just a hoax. We're not speeding up anything. We're just going on every day, just living our lives, and the Earth is going to just blow up whenever it blows up, or it's going to be over when it blows up. But what if that doesn't happen? And like, you're not a dead yet, are you?
No.
You are dead. What if this global warming thing, we are influencing it, right? And 10 years from now, our children has to live with a world that's far more turbulent. Like, how many hurricanes we had this year?
Yeah. Well, hey, in the meantime, let's just go with good vibes.
Go with good vibes, man.
Yeah.
Go with good vibes, man. I'm feeling you with the good vibes, man. But I just had a cousin that was down in Asheville, North Carolina, and his family. That hurricane. You know how hurricanes usually go on the coast, right? This hurricane came across Georgia,
Pulled up
across
on
the
everybody.
beach, and like all through Asheville,
Wow.
North Carolina, just ripping up everything down there, right? And he's like, this is like a military zone. I see like the military stuff like coming up and down the street and all this stuff, and it's like crazy, man. So I oftentimes think about this, and I'll be like wondering, man, this is like us flourishing, man, because when we don't take time out to take care of the earth, man. I mean, I'm a therapist and I'm trying to get people to think, feel, and act in ways that will help them have a better life. But at the same time, I know if we don't take care of the environment, it's going to be hard for us to do better. Because when you think about it, in all actuality, as much as I understand and believe in individual responsibility and making things better, what we can control, if you run some water, right? Water will run, it will run, it will run unless something happens to change the environment that the water is in. Either you turn it off or either the temperature drops to 32 degrees. So water will do what it does. Sometimes things will, unless we do something different to change our environment, it'll just be what it is. And we can sit here and make all the excuses. And really the excuses is really because we are comfortable doing what we're doing and we don't really want to change what we're doing.
Yeah.
And that becomes the hard thing. And I think some of it is we tend to have a bias towards what we're doing and what we're dealing with right now. So we tend to want to, on some level, live in the moment, and we're not really thinking about how is this going to affect us in 5 years or 10 years or 20 years if we don't actually change this.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so I know we supposed to be talking about basketball right now, but we started talking about this, and I was like, man, it is a crazy thing because I went outside the other day and it's November, and I just went outside taking a walk, and I just had a t-shirt on.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it's like, and I'm loving it, but I'm like, man, but why is it really like this?
Not real life.
Because this ain't Cleveland like it used to be when I came here.
Yeah, you're right.
No, it's definitely different. I understand it. Like I said, I mean, I'm, like you said, for personal reasons, it's like, all right, it'd be cool to not have a blizzard on my birthday and be able to actually go outside, outdoors, and kick it somewhere. That's cool. And trust me, I feel you. Like, look, we do our part. Like I said, outside of the fact that I would catch a fine if I didn't, we gonna recycle. It's cool, but again, like I said, it's even if we do our part to have somebody that work for the company go, yeah, bro, it don't matter. It's all going to the same place anyway, and it's still getting disposed of the same way. Or sometimes I have taken the trash out and had the trash and the recycling next to each other, and one truck or the other will pull up and grab and empty both cans into the joint, and I'm like,
Yeah, that's the point.
What's happening? You feel me?
Yeah, man.
It's those situations like that where it's like the people who like they're imposing, a behavior on us, and then even if we do our parts to know that, then they not going and doing what they supposed to do to handle their part. Then it's like, again, it puts you in a situation where it's like, damn, like then what can we actually do?
You know what? And I think to your point, man. I think sometimes when things seem so far away, due dates come faster than they appear. I think when we hear like the story of Noah, or we hear the old Inca or Mayan stories about a great catastrophic event happening, when we hear those stories, right, we don't really think those things are happening. And so we go in our lives like just kind of doing what we do and how we do it. And you mean to tell me, oh, right, if I don't take care of my trash, and we don't start really taking the whole idea of recycling more seriously, it's going to create a problem for us, right? And I also see if our city don't take it more serious, it's going to create a problem for us. But even more importantly, like, oh yeah, we don't reduce the amount of carbon emissions that's going into the atmosphere every day. You know what? I heard something one time, and I thought this was so crazy. And granted, I'm not a scientist, but they say because of the way we produce carbon, like it's like we create so much heat in the atmosphere. It's like a bunch of atomic bombs going off every day in the atmosphere, just blowing up. Yeah, just the amount of heat that's created
as a total across the whole planet versus just one concentrated area.
Yeah, it's like boom, all over the planet, like going over like a whole lot. Again,
it's so many factors to that though.
Jeez.
Like think about it. Think about it like this: we all got to go where we got to go every day. So we all gonna go get in our cars and start them up, and boom, they go to atomic bomb. Not just that. Every day, how many tens of thousands of 16-year-olds get their driver's license to go start up a car for the first time too? On top of that, every day it's 8 billion people on the planet. It's a bunch of them turning. Every day is somebody else's birthday, which means every day is somebody else's 16th, which every day is somebody else getting a new car and turning that joint on. Every day is a day that it's during tax season. Oh, yeah, that's probably when it's the hottest because everybody going to cop a bucket and they start them joints up. Like until everybody transition until Teslas are affordable. Mm-hmm. Because everybody technically want one, wouldn't mind driving one, think that it's dope to have a car that can drive itself, to have a car that you ain't got to spend money on gas for no more. Like, that is dope. But them joints cost crazy. So until they don't and the whole world start to transition, it's going to be that way. Not to mention, you got cars that run on gas that been getting produced for 100 years. You know what I'm saying? So when you considering that, then you also talking about getting all of those cars getting everybody to let go of those cars for the new fancy. With people stuck in their ways, they're not doing that for real. The cats with the think about, try to imagine going to Texas and telling everybody with their old schools to put them away and never drive them again for the sake of the planet.
No shot.
What?
It's not happening.
Hey, put them rims on that Tesla instead, and put the hydraulics on that. It's not happening. You know what I'm saying?
Start the car and ride right off.
Yeah, you know, so
they gonna start that joint. It's gonna do this.
Oh, shit. Are y'all serious?
They gonna skirt on you. They gonna burn rubber and put even more in the air.
They put even more in the air.
They pulling off.
It's gonna be even worse. You should have left them alone.
Oh, but I got you, man. I got what y'all saying, and I'm feeling that. But I think in California, by the year 2030, you won't be able to buy. You might not even be able to buy a car that's not like electric.
And that's cool, but that's what I'm saying though. You have to create situations like that where it's not a choice, because if people have the choice, they're going to continue to go.
And they're not going to believe the science. But check this out.
Come on now. The oil industry is like $1 trillion. It's like $1 gajillion industry.
And check this out. And this is the thing that people got to pay attention to, because there are some oil companies that come out and they actually have advertisements where they actually talk about this issue, and talk about coming up with technologies to take carbon out of the atmosphere and stuff like that. And so they're trying to get on the other side of it. Like, yeah, we realize it's a problem, and people not paying attention that even the people that's trying to make the oil, the petroleum companies, they actually see that this is a real issue for us, and they're trying to come up with these ways to capture carbon.
Just like,
so like, ooh, this is a real serious problem.
And it's either they're saying it or it's right. No. It's either they're saying it because they genuinely care, or they saying it because they're trying to be out ahead of it to say, hey, we're trying to help the environment. You know what I'm saying? We trying to help. You know what I'm saying? But
right, we're trying to help, but it's an affirmation that they understand that it is a problem. And but here's some of the real scary stuff that I've heard, man, and just like listening and reading different stuff. Like, okay, so like we talk about the Earth getting warmer, like, and then you hear about the ice caps melting and stuff.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But so it raises the sea level up, right? But it not only raises the sea level, it causes the release of methane, which is not really a good gas for us to be breathing. It's really bad for human beings. So, so a lot of these poisonous gas or these bad gases are trapped under these glaciers. So as they melt, they're going to be emitted into the atmosphere, and they're going to affect us, right? And affect how we live. But this is one of the craziest things that I heard, man. I'm like, maybe this is just something. Like, as the sea level rises, like, you know, because most of the water is salt. What will begin to happen is, you know how in like places like New Orleans and Houston, they have these levees that like hold water back. Well, of course, you know, places like San Francisco and Miami, they're having issues with, you know, with water. But then what will happen is eventually, unless the Army Corps of Engineers come up with ways to like stop this water from flowing, eventually what will happen is the salt water will rise up to the level that it will go, the levees won't be able to hold the water back. And like major rivers like the Mississippi will start to be contaminated by salt water. And the Mississippi River goes all the way from like through Mississippi, Louisiana, all the way up to Montana. So if that river, which is a major freshwater body in America, if it was ever to get contaminated by salt water, it would change the ecosystem. Much of the vegetation and life as we know it would significantly change. And in fact, if it kept getting warmer here, like there's insects and bugs and disease that we don't even think of now, those things would become like more likely to happen here. And people think we get sick in the wintertime because it's winter, but really we get sick in the wintertime because we closed in more. But actually, winter helps slow down the movement of germs. That's why, like, when COVID was going on, and just my educated opinion, you know, we're gonna be humble here, right? If you was paying attention to like COVID, you would notice in Florida it was like worse there in the summertime. You'd be like, oh my God, man, people getting sick because it's so hot there that people stay inside, so they're more likely to get sick then. So when you get into the winter, like places in the Midwest and North would there'd be more outbreaks because people were inside more. So it begins to change more than just this very moment. So I think we tend to live in an environment where we take a snapshot. This feels good. This is good. So I like this. But we're not thinking about the motion picture. Well, how is this going to play out in the long run if we don't make these changes? And I feel people don't want to give up their rims. I feel people don't want to give up they Fast and Furious cars. Like, right. They don't want to give those up. But at the same time, we are what they would consider to be an existential threat. Like that means this is a major time, and we probably need to change because it's not only physically affecting our environment, but it's also affecting our health, our mental health. And so we have to make this change because you got to think about it, man. You know, we have more science and technology, and this is a tripping thing about human beings now. We have more science and technology than we ever had. But when we want to embrace science and technology, we embrace it. But when we don't want to embrace it, we don't want to embrace it. So all the technology that goes into this phone, they say this is like a supercomputer. Oh yeah, I'm gonna go buy that. I'm gonna pay for that. But if you tell me something about the atmosphere, Sometimes you tell me some things about my body. If I don't want to hear it, it don't matter. It's not important.
Yeah, that's anything in life, though.
That's anything in life, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think we like that?
I mean, people just want what they feel like is beneficial for them. It's like diabetics who know they're not supposed to eat certain foods but still do it because they feel like it tastes good and it makes them feel good. Just for the time being.
Yeah, no, people, man, listen, folks be wanting what they be wanting, and it don't matter if it's a detriment to them or not. Like, my grandfather, he knew, like, he knew he wasn't feeling good. He knew that he shouldn't have continued smoking. He kept on smoking until his lungs basically collapsed on him. He kept on, then he kept on smoking till he had cancer. Then once it's like, all right, well, he know what it is at that point. Then he went ahead and turned up and started smoking more than ever because I'm already chalked and ain't nothing I can do about it. I'm not gonna not smoke now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And
it's like, sure, bro, but like if you would have stopped a long time ago, this didn't have to be this. This didn't have to be what the situation is. But it's like people be so locked in on themselves and so selfish, you know, like it's a selfish world.
But like you said, people, even with this whole conversation we just had about the earth, people are not looking 5, 10, 15, 20 years. They're just looking for today and tomorrow. Like it's not, nothing else matters to
and
to
just
a lot
taking
of
it
people.
for granted that it don't feel like anything particularly has changed. It's not until you really think about it, like we talking about in this conversation, to say like, damn, it used to be snow in the winter. You know what I'm saying?
Not,
like, and then you think about it, and it's like, well, why the hell is that? That is not.
Right.
And then you think about these different things that's going on. But again, like I said, though, when the whole world is moving more, especially now, more than anything else, like we are more separated than we have ever been in any time. Because we are experiencing, I would say, a crisis level of individualism where don't nobody care about nothing but themselves, immediately present. Everything else comes second, third, fourth, fifth down the list. Like it's me, what I want, what I think, what I feel. They ain't worried about nothing and nobody else. And so it's so hard even to get people who are on the same side of an issue to agree on how to handle things that they are supposedly on the same side of is even difficult. So, you know what I'm saying? When you can't even get people who agree on something to agree on something in totality, it's like, I feel like we low key doomed and we just gotta wait until it hit the fan.
Yeah. You know what, man, I'm gonna say something to your point, but I'm gonna say to your point, I wanna say this first. But people's selfishness, there are people in their different pockets of the world there is some island countries in the world right now that are actually going underwater because of the sea level, and they're trying to move the people and all the things in these different pockets in the world as a result of rising sea level. You hear about that in different parts of unfortunately, like different parts of Africa, and many countries have being affected by global warming on a whole nother level. But you think about here in Cleveland, like I think since January to like maybe July, August, I can't ever remember being here and seeing or having this many tornadoes. Like the many tornadoes we had. I mean, there was one that just whipped behind my house, man. It was so bad. It was like it sounded like the ocean because I have a bunch of trees behind my house. It sounded like the ocean, like seeing a tornado. And I'm standing there, like we looking there, like, oh my gosh, you know, we're you know, y'all know what to do. Let's get into let's get down to the basement or whatever. And the next day you see this, but I've never remember a summer, a fall, even the winter, because they started, actually, it was still winter when we started having these tornadoes because we was having inclement weather. Yeah. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, man, have we ever had, and I think we had like maybe perhaps a record of tornadoes. And so we used to think about Oklahoma being Tornado Alley. And so now it's happening here. And so I think about the hurricanes and I think about the tornadoes and the torrential rains in some places or the rising heat that's happening in some places. And I'm hearing, I guess because I'm a therapist, I think like this. If there's something that we can do that's in our control that we can actually change on the individual level to help push things to be better, we have to think about it maybe in small ways now, what we can do to try to change things, but in the long run, help change things. So this won't be something that we'll have to deal with. Cause I do think that, the earth has some ability to correct itself. And maybe some of the stuff that's going on now is like Godzilla coming to try to correct us, like, trying to get us, because that's what Godzilla was all about, right? He tried to correct,
to get back on point,
trying to make the correction, like, okay, y'all getting off. Mother Nature's coming now, because y'all all off right now.
No, real life. If you have you ever seen that awful M. Night Shyamalan movie called The Happening? In that movie, the Earth definitely decided to defend itself against the threat that it saw as man, and he literally created a like a spore that it was released, that was using trees to release into the air that was making people kill themselves. So if you encountered it, it was in the wind because the trees are all around us. So the trees were all producing basically this toxin that was making people kill themselves, making them go crazy and kill themselves because because of how badly we're doing Earth created a defense mechanism that was making us take ourselves off the board. Right. And it's like, even though it was a terrible movie, when you think about it, what we're talking about today, it just happens to fit perfectly in line with this concept of like you saying, like, Earth has a way of correcting itself. I would just hope that it don't end up being something like that. But like at the same time, though, you can't really blame it because everything over time comes to adapt, to things. And Earth is, we look at it however we look at it, but there's so many living, breathing things that come directly from the Earth. You have to consider the Earth as a living thing. And so it's like at some point, it makes you think.
Right. You have to remember, man, we are Earth. We come from the Earth. I mean, when I think about when I did my I feel like kind of like funny talking about this but when I did my DNA, right, I realized that I was broadly Chinese, I was Sri Lankan, I was Filipino, I was Native American, I was Black, Scandinavian, British, Irish, and of course, more than anything, a human being. But at the end of it all, we all come from the Earth. And if we say we love ourselves, but we don't take care of the Earth, then how can we truly say that we truly love ourselves? Because if the Earth is struggling, we struggling. So maybe the Earth corrects itself by saying they don't get it. You hear all these echoes and all these you hear the minister, the rabbi, the shaman, the Mahdi. You hear all of these people speaking about things happening, right? And you wonder, like, do we really hear? Because obviously, man, we got to do a better job taking care of the Earth, because when we take care of the Earth, we take care of ourselves. I know this wasn't the discussion we were supposed to be having, but it went there. But please like us and subscribe and let us know what you think. Because, y'all, we got to save this planet because our kids got to live here when we gone. I'll talk to you soon. We out.